I thought, because I love Glee so much, and also even in doing this episode, it's made me revisit Glee and go back to my inner Glee. That I would split this episode into two. So this is part two of Glee. So here's what you missed on Glee. In the last episode, we left on talking about Mike, basically. I was talking about, obviously, the stereotypes that happened in Glee. And I just meant I was talking about the other, like, the areas that happened in the show, which was why I like it when a show can be exactly multidimensional instead of just one. Because imagine if Glee had been that type of show, because I know that I want to say the discourse, but like, of course, the chat surrounding Glee is that it's a singing show, and that it's also a bit cringe. But the cringeness, bro, I don't know, think about the cringeness with that show is mainly surrounded by Mr. Shu. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, honestly, that is where it is. That is where the line is. Okay. Everybody else, everybody else, because exactly, we can say, oh, all the rest of the characters, they're teens. If they're cringe, that's a way of life, by the way. Being a teen and being cringe is literally just the way. It's just the motto. What can you do about it? Not very much. So what I'm trying to say is, like, why is it that Mr. Shu as a character was so cringe? Like, I feel like he's an adult. So this is what I'm saying to you. He's an adult. So his cringeness, like, is just too far. And it's like, when it's like, oh, you have to think about all your musical like, obviously that's the next bit I'm going to talk about, remember. And I was thinking about all my favorite performances, and I was like, some of them are not my favorite performances because obviously Mr. Shu is involved. You know what I mean? There's so many different ones that are not in the list that I'm going to go through because he's at the center of them. Do you know what I mean? Such a shame. Something like, for example, what's the one? Touch me. So that one, okay, he's at the center of that. Emma's singing that to him, and then but it's that. Oh, sorry, it's that real cringe scene where he's like, yeah, creature of the night, and we're like, oh gosh. Get off the screen, please. I thought now would be a very good time to approach the deaths of Glee, which, hey, we touched on that a little bit in the last episode, but of course what I thought about it is, like, obviously I've had a hard time with thinking about, like, like, I think when I remember about Glee, it's hard because I do think about the deaths over it more so than, like, the show, like, it's like you can't really think about Glee without thinking about the impact that Corey had on the show, the impact that Naya had on the show, and the impact that Puck, but I forget the guy's name from the show, which I will find because, of course, but although his one is a very exactly, him out of all of them, what was his name? Mark Salling. So his one's a very, like, what's it called, complex one about, like, exactly, Niall and Corey is weird. I want to say they have sadder deaths than he does, of course, because his was like, I feel like obviously Corey's, of course, as well. Corey's was also what's the word? His was also, I don't know. It says, okay, his death has been ruled accidental, but you also can't be sure because, of course, he was addicted to drugs, right? And another thing of why I say about Mark's is because obviously Mark was in a situation where, he was caught up in a case And then it was like he had a car accident and then his death was announced, basically. So it's like when you think about that, you think, oh, really? He kind of committed suicide so that he wouldn't have to go through with the case type situation. But with Corey's, exactly, you can't be sure. And then obviously with Naya's, hers was over, like, she drowned on a boat with her child type situation. And obviously, like I said, the only reason I'm talking about it right now is because it's for, do you know what I mean? It's to make it clear in it for facts, and also because as a fan of Glee as well, exactly, I wanted to talk about it because I didn't want to feel like I didn't not want to talk about it, if that makes sense. I'm like, I've loved Glee ever since I was a teen. and I was like, oh, if I don't mention the deaths, I'm going to feel ignorant. Because I was like, they did happen, and it's like I should say that they happened. I guess, exactly, I think those are people who don't know, but then I assume that everybody would know because if you're like me who has been a fan of Glee, you would obviously know. And yeah, it's like you would know where you were that day, type situation, like when you found out the news type thing. So crazy. And obviously I think on the last episode, in the first part I did talk about what's it called? I spoke about the quarterback episode anyways. It's why even if I die young, like I was gonna put that on my list, right? On the favorite performances list. And then I was like, no, because it's like that song is so sad. And to know that it's so sad because obviously, like, Naya died young, and then, of course, Corey died young, but Naya's singing that song about Corey, and then I'm like, it's so, we want to say ironic, but also no, but, like, she sang that song, and then she ends up dying, so it's why I knew it couldn't really go on there. I do have one more actually that I do need to add on there. And I think, like, also you have to bear in mind that when Naya sings If I Die Young, she's struck with a lot of emotion. And it was like how I was talking about in part one, how a lot of their emotions were all real. So Naya had to try to sing that song, bearing in mind she's obviously thinking about Corey while singing it. Same thing that Leah had to obviously go through also, because obviously she, in the quarterback episode, but Leah talks about how Finn was her person. But I also think, like what I was also saying in part one as well, was that I feel like they were, like Leah and Corey were each other's people, and they probably could have been had his death not happened, and like, exactly, both of their deaths are so, like, they're so big. Like, I think that's what I'm saying with a show like Glee. I'm like, their deaths feel so big. And I remember when I found out about their deaths, I think obviously I just never expected for them to die, but I don't think we ever expect anyone to die. Obviously, I know that we all do die, but I mean, like, we would never think that anyone from Glee would have really passed type situation, because it's just like you expected them to, like, exactly all live forever. I feel like obviously not so much Corey though, just because I think I saw something the other day that said exactly, and I think in some of the end seasons you could tell that Corey was on drugs on set type situation. So I think that's what I read the other day. So I think it's a type of thing where we all know how addiction works. Not really how it works. We wouldn't know unless it's happened to us firsthand, but we just know what it's about and what can take place. Obviously, if you get addicted, like these things happen. But you see, I wanted to talk about the deaths now. I even probably feel what's the word? A bit sad. And that's why I wanted to do it in a way that it didn't feel like I was leaving the deaths what's the word? On an end note, like to talk about them at the end of the episode type situation, because then that's not really leaving it on a high type shit. Yeah, that's not really leaving it on a high. That's leaving it on a sad. We should think about anyways, like obviously to wrap up this bit, we should think about it that like, you know, Naya and Corey and probably even Mark even Mark, they made significant impact on these shows. On this show in specific, and they really obviously were really important people. I feel like, you know, another death that really messed me up like theirs was obviously Cameron Boyce, because, you know, like he was also a young person as well. Like I feel, of course, Cameron Boyce was even younger than these lot. I feel he was younger than like Corey and what's it called? Yeah, he was younger than Corey and Naya and even Mark. Like Cameron was like, he was like, obviously, exactly, he was 20 years old. And the thing is, the matter is just like, you know, we all know of the 27 Club, right? And it's like, it feels so strange because like Cameron's is not even under that bracket. His is 20. And then you just think to yourself, like, death can happen whenever and like at whatever age. And it's quite scary, you know? And again, I feel like with Cameron's as well, is the fact that, you know, you have these people who you watch on television, like, I don't know, every day. Or, you know, or I guess with Cameron, you would watch him on Jessie on Disney Channel when we were about, I don't know, 12. Not, of course, we didn't have Disney Channel because I know some people didn't, but that's not to shame you guys. It's just sometimes I think that, like, I thought most people had Disney Channel when they were younger, but obviously I realized that they didn't, and it feels so weird because I hate sounding like that because it makes me sound superior, even though if you didn't have Disney, it's not a big deal. Of course you just know of it, but I just mean like you grow up with these people and then they die, you know, so it just feels very huge kind of thing. And I just mean Cameron dying at 20 was very, very scary. And also I guess Cameron's death, similar to even somebody like Chadwick Boseman, his death, or both of their deaths, and also Naya's actually, both of their deaths were, you want to say like exactly random deaths that basically were not like, oh, you could see them coming, even though you necessarily can't see death when it's coming. It's just like, I don't know. It's like when I say about Corey's, you think addiction and you think there's so many celebrities who have died from addiction, by the way. So that's the thing where it's like, that's not as shocking. But when it's like somebody who you didn't know was ill, you didn't know had anything wrong with them, it's a thing where it's like, it's more shocking and it's more harder to even like accept. I think for a long while after I found out about Naya, I didn't accept it for a long time. Actually, honestly, I was very in denial about it for a while, and I think, well, that can happen with death anyways. I think when death happens, sometimes we can be really in denial about said death. Like we can really you know, we can really put it on ourselves to say, oh no, that person is not dead, you know? And I think with me, I think for a long time as well, I stopped trying to watch I stopped watching Glee. I meant when I found out about Nia's death, because when I was saying to you guys I didn't finish watching Glee, but I meant I didn't finish watching the last season. So I think what happened is when I found out about Nai's death, I stopped watching Glee completely because I didn't want to see her on the television because it was gonna make me feel like she was still here, even though she isn't. So I think it was too fresh for me, I think. And I think that is what, obviously, as I said, that is what can happen when something is too fresh for you. It's a bit too soon for you to be able to watch them and things or look at pictures of them. And I think that's all like a normal reaction. I don't think it's weird. I think it's justifiable, really. But then it's like now, obviously, I was like, oh, yeah, I've come to terms with it. I still find the whole death like super weird though, just because her being on a boat and like her child surviving also, but then not her. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like boat deaths also are very strange as well, because people who die on boats, I find that odd because, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people do. Boat deaths are very weird because it's very suspicious, because there'd be other people on said boat, or then there were people in the area, unless you're in the middle of nowhere. But then I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I think you wouldn't be, but I don't know. Crazy, but I do feel like, exactly. I just wanted to talk about the deaths because obviously, first of all, I suppose I wanted to get off my chest, but also I wanted to, include it to not be like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about the deaths because it's going to make me cry. Even though I'm a bit upset. But yes, let's refocus. I'm now going to move on to favourite performances, which obviously I've got like 20, guys. And then, bro, yeah, I have about 20. Because I was thinking, how many is there? And there's even some, actually, when I go through this year, you guys will see that there's some that I think I'm even missing out. But this is the thing. Glee has so many good performances. It's like, if you wanted to, you'd be here for ages. Like, I'm telling you, if I list all of the performances, and a lot of them are so good, then like crazy. Having 20 is bizarre anyway. I was like, having 20 performances is crazy. How is it 20 different performances that I love from the show? I think I might add what's it called? I'll add one honorable mention though, because 20, as I said, feels like enough for me. I don't think we need to make this list any longer, even though, imagine if we could do something like top 100, but I think that'd be really, really crazy. Top 100 is crazy. I mean, I know that there's so many performances in Glee that I think you probably could do 100. I wonder, I should search that up, actually. Give me a moment. See, guys, get this. It says the series Glee featured over 700 performances of songs across its 121 episodes, with a definitive count of 738 distinct songs covered by fan sites and music analyses. 700. That's why I told you guys. I knew I was right. You could do a top 100, and that would be crazy. Because so that means, wow. And I said 100, so that means minus that 100, you still have 600 performances to go. Yeah, man, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna take you guys through my 20 though, and then also my honorable mention. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to go through them, of course, and then I'll talk about them separately. It's easier that way. So at number 1, it's Hello, I Love You. Number 2, Make No Mistake, She's Mine. Number 3, Hello. 4, Smooth Criminal. 5, Getting Married Today. 6, Creep. 7, Americano. 8, Bohemian Rhapsody. 9, Boy Next Door. 10, The Rain in Spain. 11, Cough Syrup. Blaine. 12, Come What May. 13, Total Escape, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Duh. 14, Human Nature. 15, I'm a Slave for You. Yes. 16, La Isla Bonita. 17, 4 Minutes. 18, I Feel Pretty, But I'm Pretty. And 19, Scream. And then 20, Girls They Wanna Have Fun. With our honorable mention being 3, which is obviously performed by oh yeah, like Tina. I think Tina, I feel like I remember what season that was in as well. It might have been like 4 or 5. I even have a playlist which I think I will put into the description, but I have a playlist which is Glee songs which are better than the original, right? Exactly. Because I obviously even put that in the description for part 1, and I said obviously like there's so many Glee songs that are better than the original, and you think of the Glee song and the Glee performance instead of the original. So even exactly as I said to you, we're gonna go through some of the songs that some of the songs that I just mentioned on my list, because they're so fire. Like, and I'm saying, like, I think about them more than I think about who actually performed them. I think I'll start off with I'm a Slave for You, because I literally saw that yesterday. Like, as in, I saw it on my, I think I saw it on my YouTube. My YouTube knows, because I think my YouTube knows that I'm having a revisit into Glee. So it's obviously been giving me Glee performances. And I'm like, there's so many that I love, and they're showing me the right ones. I was like, they're actually showing me the right ones, because of course I love Glee, and it's like, exactly, I'm a slave for you, right? And the whole fact of the matter is why that performance is so good. Obviously, Brittany's at the dentist. Guys, Brittany is at the dentist, and that episode was called, Brittany, right? But so Britney Spears and Brittany, 2 different spellings, by the way, as well, actually, because obviously you've got Brittany, which is Britney, and then you have Brittany, which is Brittany. So like obviously that's how hers is spelled, but then obviously like, and of course they had to do that. That's the thing with Glee. I feel like they have such great what's the word, they have such great timing, it feels like, as in like the way to plan a scene and to have it fit so well. Like, of course, in an episode called Brittany was gonna have, it's like have Brittany do a Brittany performance, and of course they chose I'm a Slave for You, which is probably one of, you know what I mean, it's one of the best Britney songs, obviously, aside from what's it, baby get, what is it, wait, hit me one more time. Sorry, but yeah, and then again, like I said, also the honorable mention, which was 3, obviously that's also in that episode as well. I like when they did the, yeah, that's what I really enjoyed about Glee. But when they did the tribute episodes, that was really great. Do you know what I mean? And then, because remember, they even have Britney Spears in that episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, she comes to Britney after Britney performs that song. So I was just like, that's so great. Exactly. And I liked all of their I liked all of their celebrity, like, guest star stuff. I remember everyone was talking about that they found it very iconic when, I think, Matt Bomer. Yeah, when Matt Bomer was in Glee. And obviously, wow, he is great. Like, he's great. But like, like when he was in Glee, everyone was like, that was very iconic as well. But I think if I look back to the list again, and I also think about who is one of these on the list who was not a performance by the kids, but somebody featured with them. So like Americano obviously was Yes, was Kate Hudson. That's what I was talking to you guys about Kate as well in the last part, but exactly that was her performance, exactly at Niada. So when Rachel was obviously in New York and at the dance school, that was Kate's performance. And obviously, like I said to you, Kate and Rachel were like head to head so much in that season. So I guess that was when they sang that as well. Because remember, even Kate, obviously, who obviously was Rachel's teacher, she had a weird relationship with Brody, who was the guy that Rachel liked. And it was like, you know what I mean? And then also her teacher would pick on her. It's type of situation where exactly her teacher was kind of similar to how Santana hated her type situation. It was like, exactly, it was like she was at school all over again. She was being humiliated and bullied by her teacher. In the same way that a bully would, you know. It was very weird. And that again, that, you know, her teacher would be exactly dancing with Brody and making it seem like, you know, except I think that yes, they were having a relationship anyways. This is what I'm saying. Like, as I said, I think I remember saying, yes, I liked Rachel and Brody's relationship, but of course, he wasn't a good guy, you know? This is what I'm saying to you. I liked it, but he wasn't a good guy. I think even in the end, wasn't it that exactly, they found out that Brody was doing something weird and odd, I'm sure. And then remember, Finn came there, and then Finn beat him up, basically. You know, Finn beat him up. And then obviously, exactly. And then obviously, then they had that whole, what's that? Oh, guys, that's another performance as well. They performed Don't Speak, because obviously it was, that song was supposed to be about the fact that Rachel had cheated on Finn. And I think, was it Kurt? Was it, who cheated on who again? I think, no, it was like, I think it was, yes, exactly. Kurt cheated on Blaine. I believe so. So, yeah. But then I feel like when I was looking at something the other day as well, a lot of people were saying that Blaine had cheated on Kurt at one point too. But, you know, that doesn't ring a bell for me. I mean, I can check again, obviously, because that's what I like to do here, because we just need to fact check. Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. That's fair. Because exactly. So it says Blaine did cheat on Kurt in the Glee episode, The Breakup. And exactly, that's when they sang Don't Speak. And I like that song as well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I guess that's another honorable mention. Because, exactly, you have Rachel and Finn, Kurt and Blaine. And then it was nice because they were splitting it. And exactly, the shots were amazing. They were splitting it into two. And then they had, exactly, we'd have them in one side and then Kurt and Blaine on the other side. And then they were walking by the fountain. And yeah, it was giving music video. That's the thing. A lot of good performances gave music video. Even if we go back to something like, exactly, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of my favorites. Because exactly, guys, I should say that to you guys. I should pick out one of my favorites out of this list anyways. Do you know what I mean? It's 20, so why not? It's like, obviously I have Bohemian Rhapsody, which is performed by Jessie, and the other team. And it's when Quinn is giving birth, and honestly, that's what I mean. That's why it's one of my favorite performances, because that scene, I was like, how can you take it serious? Like, I mean, it's cinematic, it's peak, we get it, but it's so random. It's so random. Quinn's out here like, no, and then it's like, and then you just have Jessie singing the song. But I just think it went so well together, though. Actually, that's the thing. Like, it was a mashup. And I think obviously, like, it was such a great mashup because we're just like, they made pregnancy look comical, or the act, or the fact of giving birth. You know, we're like, the giving birth is not an easy situation, but when they did that, they made it seem so hilarious. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, let me go, and Quinn's like, no. Quinn's like, no, and then they're like, it's just so funny. It's so funny. Even like, yes, like like Isa Bonita, that's one that I remembered the other day, because exactly that was with what's that guy's name again? The guy who sings what do you call it? Video, what's it? Sorry. I forget what that song is called, guys. Wait. Ricky Martin. That episode is so weird as well, remember, because that's when Mr. Shu, back to Mr. Shu, guys, he's so weird. But he's like, oh, he wants to be a matador, and then he was wearing the Spanish jacket. We were like, bye. And then you had the Ricky Martin there. The guy was acting a fool. Like, are you serious? Like, have manners. Ricky Martin is here. Have grace. Have shame. You know, we were like, he's here. And then obviously he sings that song with Santana, and that was amazing. And they obviously had a great dance, and they did everything great. What also am I thinking of? You know, I'm thinking of another performance right this second. Oh my gosh, wait. You know one that I wasn't on this list, guys? Rumor has it. Oh, I'm sick. Rumor has it. Wait, hold on a second. I forgot about that one. But I feel like rumor has it, I would make that a thingy bob. I would make that a, what do you call it? Yeah, that would go, okay, fine. That would go on the list properly, I think. That wouldn't be an honorable mention. It would be 21, because, yeah, that song is so good. Especially when, people talk about the fact that, and I think I did too, yes. when Santana and Mercedes sing, oh, it's amazing. They're so good when they sing together, and, like, we don't have enough of duets with them. It's even the idea of people saying exactly about Quinn and Rachel, you know, you basically only really have I Feel Pretty and I'm Pretty, and that song is actually so sad as well. I don't know why it's one of my favorites, but it obviously is so sad because Rachel was feeling insecure about her nose, and then she obviously wanted to have Quinn's nose, because Quinn was obviously like, you know, Quinn was the queen bee, right? Queen bee, Queen Miss Popular, do you know what I mean? But then obviously she gets struck down with teen pregnancy, and that's where she falls off. But then again, I was like, does Quinn really fall off after getting pregnant? Kind of. I mean, she kind of does, because she did that whole thing. Like, it's even, remember, like, how Mr. Shu's what was it? His girlfriend member tried to, lie to him about being pregnant. So it's similar to that. But she did a similar thing too, because, like I was saying, she told Finn that that Beth was his child, but she wasn't, and she was actually Puck's. So exactly, I can't really put my finger on it. I was gonna say was her fall from grace when she was pregnant. I mean, she was going through a lot that whole entire time, especially even when they sang Keep Holding On. I think Keep Holding On is definitely also an honorable mention. Because I like that one, but exactly, I mean, it wouldn't go on the list. But yes, I see that to her as well then, because obviously she was really upset about, you know, her pregnancy and her family not being happy about it. But then, did she expect them to be? That's the crazy thing. Did she expect them to be happy about her pregnancy? She was like, she's a teen. I said, she's a teen. Be so for real. But so obviously exactly you have that one, because, you know, I can't remember exactly when her proper drop was, because, you know, when she goes through that whole era of having pink hair and having piercings and smoking, and then obviously Rachel has to come to her and be like, Quinn, please come back. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's like, please come back to the Glee Club. We need you. I can't remember like what that was about, though, to be honest. And oh my gosh, you know what I saw just yesterday was people talking about exactly. I think they used the casual song, obviously by Chappelle Roan, and obviously said that like Quinn and Rachel were fringing on homoerotic, really. Like they've, and you know what's crazy? I never really saw it. You know, that's what's crazy. I watched that TikTok and I was like, but I didn't see that though, and I feel weird that I didn't see it. You know, I like as somebody who, you know, loved Britney and Santana's relationship, I didn't see it. That's crazy. I was like, I love the relationship so bad, and I was like, that's crazy that I didn't see Quinn and Rachel's themes. But you know, the thing of the matter is, even if I didn't see them, I just thought that Quinn and Rachel's friendship was more like, you know, what's it called? Yeah, like I want to be you type situation. It's like when the other day I just saw a Caroline edit which had the song Lacey by Olivia Rodrigo. So I saw that one, and that's similar because, you know, Rachel wanted to be Quinn, you know? You know, for the longest time she wanted to be Quinn, and that's obviously why with I feel pretty and I'm pretty is that she wanted to have Quinn's nose. She thought having Quinn's nose would change everything for her, which it wouldn't. But like she thought that because she was obviously insecure in her appearance, and I guess also Quinn's standing, you know? But it was, and then Quinn obviously she was one of those ones, she was like, you don't want my life though, you know? She was like, you don't want it though. This is the thing, you actually don't want it. It's the same way that exactly it has themes of Caroline and Elena as well. Like, Elena used to be like, Elena's like, Caroline, no, like, you don't want it either. Like, I'm roped up with like 2 vampire guys. I don't have a mom and dad. And also I'm like, she's like, I'm an orphan. So, do you know what I mean? Wrap all of those things together and then come back and say if you still want this life. You don't. You said you don't. You don't want this smoke. Like, you just don't want it. But it's like, I don't even know, man. That song is great. And I'm just like, I just don't even know. Let me even talk about my second favorite then. Yeah, because I always like to do this, and you guys know this. I like to do top 3s, right? Because that's what I'm saying. You have to handpick out 3 instead of when it's like 20, all 20 of these, or 21, anyways. So all 21 of them is like, they're all valid. I love every single one of them, right? But it's like top 3. So of course, as I said, 1 would be Bohemian Rhapsody. Number 2 would be Smooth Criminal, and of course, like, I'm sure exactly. I had my friend ask me what my favorite Glee performance was, and I said, yeah, it's Smooth Criminal, because why not? And I'm like, oh, I just can't explain it. I said, it's so good. It's so good. I can't even explain it. Like, just them. It's okay. I guess it's the violence. Them like fighting off. Like, you know, this is the thing. Smooth Criminal is not even that kind of song, but it felt like, you know, Santana and Sebastian were battling. And but the context behind that performance was that Santana came there to defend Blaine, and then, you know, exactly, she came there to defend Blaine, and then it became a whole thing of like, yeah, it became a thing of just warring and like, you know what I mean? And guys, Sebastian, he was such a great, I don't even know what I could explain him as, but he was like, yeah, a villain. I was like, is he a villain? It's like how you could say Jesse was a villain as well, but like in a different way though, guys, right? As I said in the part 1, that Jesse loved Rachel though. He did. You know, he loved her, okay? He was used as a pawn, cool, that's fine. But he did love her, though. You know, that's the thing. And I think it's so interesting when someone has to be a spy, but they lose their true mission while they're in it. I'm like, that's so, I love that so much. I'm like, you forgot what you were here to do. You forgot why you were here. I'm like, that's so cool. You forgot what you were sent here to do. That's crazy. Because he did, Remember, he went into the Glee Club, right? Obviously, because exactly, Rachel's mum asked him to tear it down. He went in there, and he actually was in there properly, but he was enjoying it though. He was enjoying every minute of it though. Like, he was enjoying being Rachel's, I don't know, we say in speech marks, boyfriend. He was enjoying that. And then, okay, so sorry, but I do need to go back to my ranking actually, because obviously I was like, wait, so I said 2, which is Smooth Criminal, and then 3, oh my gosh. I'm kind of stuck between The Rain in Spain, Boy Next Door, and Hello. I'm stuck between those, okay? Those ones, real tricky, because I loved The Rain in Spain when I first heard it. Like, not even like, do you know what I mean? When a song has to grow on you, it was nothing like that. I heard the song and I loved it. I heard the song and I loved it. Like, it was just electric. The rain in Spain is made in the plane. I think he's got it. By George, he's got it. Now, once again, where does it rain? Guys, sorry, I always sing to you guys all the time, and that's what I mean. When I envisioned this episode, I was like, was it just gonna be me singing to you guys on continuous? I thought that's what I wanted it to be, and but initially, before when I had the idea of doing it, I thought because I said to you guys, no, I had the idea that I thought I wanted it to be with a guest, or I was just going to be singing all the songs to you. And that's what my issue is, actually, with wanting to discuss musicals. I don't know how I even did the Starstruck episode, because it was like, every time when I was talking about it, I kept thinking about Hero in my head. And I was like, the voices. Because I was like, I just wanted to sing Hero, and then I was still talking to you guys, but I was getting stressed because I kept thinking about the song. And it's like all of these, like, honestly. And I think also another episode that I had in mind, obviously, which is another musical, was obviously Dreamgirls. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I talk about Dreamgirls, you guys are gonna have to sit through me singing It's All Over. You are. You're going to have to sit there. You're going to have to listen to me. That's final. And I thought to myself, why do that? You guys want to hear me speak. I mean, you want to hear me, exactly. You want to hear commentary. You want to hear all of that. You want to hear me touch on bits there, here and there. But to sing to you guys the whole way through, it's crazy. We said this is not, right? This is not carpool karaoke. It is Cine Shows, right? This is the platform. He said, remember where you are. Remember where you are. Remember what we are brought here for. Sorry about that. I just had to shake my paper. So yeah. Damn. And also, actually, sorry, I also forgot about getting married today. And I think I told you guys that in part 1. Obviously, getting married today was really important to me as well, like fundamental to me. I just mean, like, exactly when you think about it and you think about the Glee performances, you're like, which one of these performances changed your life? Which one of them rewired your brain? What took it apart? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I was saying to you guys, getting married today did do that for me. So much so, as I said to you, that I sat through Company. Not that Company's bad, but like, first matter is when you watch something just because you want to see your favorite part like come up. Do you know what I mean? You're not here for the rest of the story. You're here for that one bit. That was me watching Company to see Getting Married Today. Of course, it didn't disappoint, but that was literally what I watched the movie for, and that was the only reason, to be honest. So it's like, genuinely. And okay, fine, another one again. I know right now, exactly, I'm here with you guys discussing my last one, but I'm just having I'm stretching myself apart here. But another one would be exactly number 20, which is Girls Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And oh my gosh, some of the songs that they do on the show, how is it that they make them sound so melancholy, you know? It's also what I thought about Shake It Out as well, which is obviously an honorable mention, and it that they sang that to Coach Beast when obviously she was having it's like a domestics and relationship, so they sang that to her, and I was like, how could they make Shake It Out sound like that? You know, Shake It Out by Florence Machine is so upbeat, so and a lot of Florence Machine songs are, you know, like songs like Never Let Me Go and Cosmic Love, like all of them are very much upbeat. And then like when they sing Shake It Out, like they make it so sound so soft, so sincere, so emotional, which is supposed to be, of course, for the context and for the scene. But I'm just like, I just didn't know they could make it sound like that. And that is obviously exactly going back to Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like, oh, and every time, and then Fact of the Matter is obviously Corey sings that song, so that's even more sadder, you know? That's obviously what I was talking about, the deaths, right? And exactly, Corey singing that song, and I think about him singing that song all the time, and it makes me think, is it my favorite Finn performance? Which it may be. You know, you guys are like, why that out of all of the Finn performances? But generally, it probably is that one. Even though actually close second, of course, would be Hello, I Love You. You know, I feel like Hello, I Love You when Finn's singing that song. Yeah, he's so great. I think when he sings that song, yeah, exactly. My body had a reaction, like, you know, type of thing. Like, I never thought, because even when Santana used to make fun of him, that's what's crazy, I never thought Finn was really that attractive. But when he sings Hello, I Love You, I was like, wow. And I think Hello, I Love You as well, it's such a main character song. It feels like when Finn performs it, it's given like a song that I could see exactly. I was talking to you guys about Gabriella in part 1. It's a song I could see Troy Bolton singing. I was like, wait, you guys have transported me to High School Musical. How did we get here? How did we actually get here? I think I need to make up my mind, guys. Like, I'm loitering right now because I have not made up my mind of what 3 would be. And even a song like Cough Syrup. Telling you guys, this is why I needed this split into 2, guys. I was so right. I needed this split into 2 because I knew it was gonna be me going through this list and like then me wanting to rank it, and then wow, and now we're here, you know, and I'm just like, what do I want the last song to be? Also, after I've done this last, like, obviously track on my top 3, I'm obviously leaving you guys. I feel like I've took your ear for enough, you know. I split this in a second part, guys. So practically, you've been listen to me speak for 1 hour and like 1 hour and 48 minutes. Bye. Like, that is so long. But that, honestly, I'm gonna lock in and I'm gonna think about my last track. You know what's annoying me, actually? The fact of the matter is, yeah, actually, I don't want it to be an obvious answer, actually. This is the thing, because I could easily say Getting Married Today is number 3, but I don't think it should be like that, because just because like I've listened to Getting Married Today so much, you know, that should be the answer. I think it should be another one. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't really think we think about the other ones all that often, you know? Like, we like them, but I'm saying we don't actually talk about them enough. So I'm thinking that I'm going to choose... Oh my gosh, wait, guys, I just forgot a song. I just realized. Run Joey Run. I was talking to you guys about Run Joey Run in the first part as well. Damn. But no, Run Joey Run. This list is mad long, guys. Run Joey Run, again, I feel like would obviously be an honorable mention again. And that song is so unserious. For me to have it on the list properly is crazy. That's such an unserious song. So I'm like, that's not, but I feel like, yeah, I love Run Joey Run. Like, if people, no hating on Run Joey Run here. It's such a classic, okay? Daddy, please don't. It wasn't his fault. He means so much to me. Daddy, please don't. We're gonna get married. Just you wait and see. So, exactly. And they gave us, guys, Run Joey Run, exactly, it gave us storytelling. It gave us realness. I'm sorry. Like, and you had Finn, Jesse, Puck in that song being the guys, exactly, being her savior. But then anyways, yeah, she, but like in that song, she ends up dying though. So what's going on there? You guys did not do a good job. You didn't do a good job. But anyways, I feel like I've held you on now for longer, right? Number 3 is Total Eclipse of the Heart. And why not? Why not? You know, guys, what I will say, what was going to be close to this, to Total Eclipse of the Heart, was going to be Creep. When Rachel sings Creep with Brody, that was going to be close. Because honestly, that Creep is so good. And I think Creep's even been, exactly, Creep has been, is trending, I think, yeah, on TikTok right now. So obviously that one is amazing and is great in its own right. Do you know what I mean? And that's obviously probably why I was stuck between there. But then I realized that Total Eclipse of the Heart, right, has just a lot, has a lot going on in it. And probably I'm choosing that one because I told you guys I used to be a Saint Berry shipper. So yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And I said to you guys, yeah, I felt like I was in enemy territory because people don't probably expect you to say that. As I said, they expect you to say that your number 1 is Finchel, but we're like, no. they're not even all that crazy. Like, they're just not that crazy. And you know what's funny? Again, with Finchel, we're like, Rachel and Finn have so many gaps in their relationship, not to be a hater, but like, I said not to be a hater, but like, as I said, he lets her go. Okay, sorry, I keep using that term that he lets her. She goes off to New York, and then exactly, they're doing up long distance, gross, and then what's it called? He misses her. Then he comes over to New York, and then obviously, yeah, Finn obviously ends up being a teacher back at the Glee Club. Sorry, so also think about that, right? He ends up being a teacher there, and that would never be me, guys. That's what I'd like to say. That would never be me. What do you mean I went to school here and I'm going to come back and I'm going to teach? That's embarrassing. I'm just like, not even like it's embarrassing. It's just like, nah. I'm like, I went to school here. And I'm like, you guys were not that good to me. How could you expect me to come here to teach? If I ever had to do that, they'd have to pay me so much money. They'd have to pay me so much money. I'm not even kidding. They'd have to be giving me raises, promotions, all day, every day. Because what do you mean for me to come back here? For me to come back here when I didn't even like it here. I know that because that's the thing. I feel like obviously Finn came back because he liked the Glee Club, and I guess it was obviously right. It was fundamental to his time there. And then also Mr. Shu, obviously, exactly. I think exactly. Finn was like Mr. Shu's favorite, I feel. Because anyways, exactly. In the beginning of Glee, remember, that's the first person that Finn is the first person that Mr. Shu goes after in order to get him to join Glee Club. And I think I guess everybody else who comes in, it's just a more of a slow, gradual thing. But he wanted Finn in specific. Do you know what I mean? I think he did this. Oh yes, remember he did that whole weird prank thing or something because he wanted to make sure that Finn would have to join. I thought it was something to do with drugs. But yeah, I thought it was something to do with drugs, but exactly, he wanted Finn to be on the team. So I think, in a way, think to yourself, Finn working there was not all that surprising, just because he was somebody who was in Glee, like, originally. You know? He was one of the OGs. he was handpicked. They wanted him, and they had him. That's simple. Simple as they had him, and that's where he was. And then remember how, when you think about the beginning of a program, I remember how exactly they all came to be together, like, they all didn't, I don't know, they all didn't really like each other at first, I suppose. But then they sang Don't Stop Believing. And that was just so iconic again. And I'm somebody, guys, I always talk to you guys about pilot episodes. And I say to you guys, a pilot episode is make or break. A pilot episode is the cherry. You know what I mean? It's not the cake, it's the cherry. It has to be great. Otherwise, we're not gonna be here. We're not we're not going to stay. And that's why I'm saying to you, like, Don't Stop Believing is great. Because it's like you have these all in their red tops, and yeah, and I guess the pilot episode just lets us know that we're in for a great story, and that, the Glee Club will grow on to win a lot of awards. And this is what I'm saying. Another thing with Glee Club is that exactly they weren't automatically good. They had to get they had to get better, and they had to put in work. And they also had they also had Sue at their side, who was, exactly throwing spanners and finding it a hard time for them to win, by the way. So that's what I mean. You always want to support a group, or a main character / like main characters. You want to support them if you see that they are struggling, right? That's what I mean. Every time and then it's like Glee Club wouldn't win, and we were like, when are they going to win? Type situation. Like, it reminds me of exactly when Camp Rock didn't win, because I talked to you guys about Camp Rock in part 1 as well, but when Camp Rock 2, they didn't win them to save the camp, and it was beautiful because they didn't win, but they were all happy as well. Like, I mean, they were sad that they didn't win, but they all came together to really connect on music. And that's the same thing Glee Club as well. A lot of these all had problems with each other, but when they were singing songs together, oh, they were friends and they were family, bro. They were connected, and it was beautiful. They were connected, and it was gorgeous. And just remembering that, I'm reaching the end of the episode, but in just remembering, I was remembering the fact that I didn't really talk about Sue that much. Sue's great, it's how Sue sees it. I think someone was saying to me that imagine if Sue was around now, as in just like if like Glee Club was on, she would hate the state of the world right now. We said that she would actually hate it. And wow, I mean, like, we need Sue in this time, actually. Crazy work. She's the only one that can save us, to be honest. And also, another thing about Sue, again, she may have been a hater, but she loved Kurt and Blaine. That's more than enough. She loved Kurt and Blaine anyways. She's like, oh wait, what's her line again? Doesn't mean you're gay. Just means you're awful. Like, honestly. So yeah, so you like show tooths. Doesn't mean you're gay. Just means you're awful. I'm gonna make her the cover for this episode, but like, exactly, it doesn't mean you're gay, it just means you're awful. Guys, I could spend talking about Glee forever. I think I also didn't talk about obviously exactly Sue's person who was at her side. Yeah, because exactly. And again, you can say that Sue again was a kind of a multi-dimensional person as well when I was talking about the show, but that she seemed to obviously not like the Glee Club, but she supported everybody else who was around her, you know, like Becky, people who were actually in her corner, people were actually in her back pocket. And yeah, she was just great, to be honest. Shout out to. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.